Howdy folks, Doc here with Last Best Tool, and well finally, the Icon G2 Stubby Ratchet is here. Now I'm probably the most excited about this of anyone on YouTube, and that's because I've been playing around making these, trying to figure it out. In fact, this is not it. This is one I made. This is a 3/8 drive one. Here is the actual Icon Stubby Ratchet. Just beautiful little 1/4" drive. It's not very smooth. Well, that's because this isn't it either. Here it is. It's still in the box. I'm going to do an unboxing and actually try this out. But I thought I'd show it to you first. I often get questions. So first of all, it is the G2 Stubby Ratchet. It is a 1/4" drive. They probably will have larger sizes, I'm hoping. It's the R1ST. Comes in this box. We're going to talk about that. Split pawl technology, etc. 1/4" head width. There's the dimensions, lifetime warranty. So flared out grip. Yep, that's important. That's it. So let's go ahead and open this thing up. But I do have a little piece of advice to Harbor Freight, especially with their Icon ratchets, and that's they are spending a lot of money and time putting it in this rather extensive packaging. And sometimes people like to keep it in a package sitting in a toolbox, and I get that. It's how you sell bigger toolboxes, you know, is use up the tool space with plastic holders for the tools. But in this case, it seems kind of crazy. Now, Snap-on, one of the ways that they kind of keep down their costs is by minimizing the packaging. So if you're on a truck, you can actually get something. Rarely is it in a bag. It's usually just sitting, you know, on a shelf, stuck to a magnet on the ceiling, or maybe in a drawer. If you do get it online, it often comes in a bag. Doesn't mean it'll be clean, it's just in a bag. Separates it from the other tools that it's banging around in the box in, but it saves Snap-on quite a bit of money that they pass on to the customer. So let's take a quick look at the box as I open it, because I know there's a little surprise in here. But first, this is also an Icon Gen 2 ratchet. This one here, the part number is the R1XL. Beautiful little ratchets, over 12 inches long, 1/4" drive. However, it is pretty much locked up. You see that? Doesn't go in either direction. I can force it in one direction. You hear that clicking? That's about it right there. I can reverse it. I might be able to go a little ways. Nope. Look at that. It does not move. I haven't decided what to do. Obviously, it's lifetime warranty. I could take it back. They'd instantly give me another, but it is really stuck. So I just wanted to show you that. Okay, these come from the factory, just like flashlights in the off position. So if you want to turn it on, you've got to do that yourself. I think it's probably a shipping rule or something. Let's open this guy. Oh, get in the line for these. This is the new M390 knife from Meritech at CountyCom, serialized. It's a short run. Now, if you're into smaller knives, Montana Knife Company size knives, look at that. M390, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful fit and finish. Love it in the hand. Comes with 3 different scales that you can mix and match. There's also black, of course. But it's not available just yet. But you can sign up to be alerted, and it's only like $119, which is crazy if you're used to some of the other small knife dealers' kind of custom jobs. But this is, it just, the moment I picked it up, I thought, wow, that's favorite. That's instant favorite right there. But let's see how it cuts. As you can see, there's lots of tape on these things. Again, excessive packaging. I might just cut right through it. Right through there. Right through there. I don't know for sure what I'm going to run into on the inside, so I've got a bunch of tools off to the side to help me crack the shipping box. That's another thing. I mean, it's just crazy. All this goes in the garbage. Yeah. You know, all of the extra stuff. So, wow, look at all that plastic and cardboard. So there it is. Big, beefy, bold Icon branding. Got a little zip tie holding it. I'm going to put away this. It's razor sharp. Just absolutely a gorgeous knife. You know, comes in this sheath here. Or you can get one of their carbon fiber kitchen knives. They also come in a couple of G10 flavors. But pretty cool. I'll be working with those. Anyway, so let's go ahead and cut this off. Now, something they might want to send over to the Icon factory in Taiwan. If you remember reading that, it said made in Taiwan, but that's a pretty lousy job of cutting a zip tie end there. So if they sent over some Icon flush cutters, you know, you could cut that off a lot nicer, be a better presentation. But let's go ahead and trim that. All right, what does this do? Let's see. Does that lift up or something? There we go. Probably just blocked that, huh? I'm doing that more lately. All right, there it is. Huh. It's actually bigger than the one that I made out of a Gen 1 ratchet. You can see there's the marketing on it, R1ST for Icon. 72 tooth, I guess. Real smooth. I don't feel any hiccups or anything. There is a touch of back drag, but you know, if I'm comparing it to, whoops, the Snap-on, it's probably less than this Snap-on. Now, the Snap-on they compare it to, I think, is the TK72, which sells for like $113. This is right now, maximum Harbor Freight price is $29.99, 30 bucks. So it's, you know, a little less than a third, little, I guess, almost 3.5 times less than the Snap-on. And I don't really have any problem with that because you're not using these in real high torque environments. As long as it holds a socket on there and, you know, it works, then you get the benefit from this. I wouldn't mind seeing a flex head, and this is another one that I made. This is actually a G2 ratchet, I believe, with a, yeah, it's a G2 with a locking flex head. So I think there are plenty of designs still out there. See what sells. There are some other sizes of Icon ratchets, kind of in this size here, and then one that's a little bit longer. I'll probably get those and try them out. But I wanted to start with this because this is the one I was the most excited about. Just a beautiful little ratchet. And, you know, I sing the praises of these little Snap-on ones. It's my favorite, some of my favorite tools. I know a lot of you, you know, have taken the plunge on them and loved them, but they're not accessible to everybody. You know, it is an expensive ratchet and you rarely ever see them used, and even on eBay they might sell for more than off the truck. And then of course you got to get into the others. Here's a 3/8 version without the flex head. Here is the 1/2-inch version with the flex head. I mean, this thing, last I priced it, it was like 215 bucks or something like that, which is just outrageous, I think. I mean, it's the top end of almost any size Snap-on ratchet, but anyway. So, is it worth it? As long as it holds up better than that long one here. You know, most of my other Icon ratchets have worked great. You know, the Gen 1, you know, there were some issues. Occasionally they had, you know, big back drag problems, but they seem to work. The Gen 2s, I haven't had any trouble except for this one. You know, and I was kind of glad, you know, to know that they were fallible. But I've also played with others. I cut down a Pittsburgh here, if you haven't seen that video. So I've made, you know, you can do it really inexpensively. Get a little tiny Pittsburgh, just grind it and polish it. This is one where I took off a handle off of one of those multi-bending ones and just put it on another. Just basically took out the middle section, so I've got a nice little, this is actually a Pittsburgh, but there's no branding anywhere because I took it off. Quinn cut one down to make a 1/2-inch. So you can get into something like this. I don't know how much it was, 16 bucks or something like that, you know, versus 200 and something if you need a small one. And you're not able to put that much torque on one of these because it's a short ratchet. Now, question that pops up with these is, you know, should you run a spinner on them? And definitely in certain cases, spinners are great. Little spinning wheels here, the various sizes. I've got tons of them, different kinds, but you can also run really long sockets on them. I absolutely love this design. So you throw one of the extra long sockets, which are available, you know, through a lot of manufacturers. So you can also put on long extensions like this, and those are great for getting into confined spaces where you want a little bit more torque maybe than a long screwdriver. They just are so handy. great sight line all the way into where you're working. You can do them blindly. You can actually have something like this, working one-handed if you need to. Line it up, flick it back and forth. So it's a neat little handle driver. And that's why I like to get these in people's hands, because you are missing something if you don't have anything tiny. Now, obviously, if you work on giant vehicles, you may not encounter something like this, the use for something like this. But when you do, and you have one, it's a whole different world. It's just it works great in the hand. That's really, I guess, what I was impressed with these, is just the fit, the ability to adjust it. I mean, it's designed for finger use, from about the first knuckle on up. And that's where they really shine. And none of the other big ratchets are really designed for that. So, happy with that one. I have to keep looking to see the shorter one, the smaller one's mine. And I guess there are probably some people who are going to start modding these, maybe putting a 3/8. I've done that. I originally put a 3/8 on one of the little guys here, little snap-ons. When I got these, they were actually sitting in a bowl on the Snap-on truck, like peanuts. And you'd pick them up, and it's like, wow, how much are these? And they were at the time on sale for $99. Some of you might remember that. For this one, for the flex head one. And they just had a big bowl of them. And yeah, there they are. Yeah, I'll take a couple of those. But anyway, if you don't have one of these and you want to feel one, you can, go cut one down to get an idea. Or, go buy it. Try it out. You can always return it. Snap, or whatever their icon lets you return things within a certain time window if you don't like it. But I have a feeling you'll love it. Cool. I'm glad they are doing this. Let me know your thoughts. And with that, Doc out.